All right, good morning.
Good morning.
I was hoping Bosh and Matt weren't here. But you guys know I'm trying to sell our house. It sucks trying to sell a house because people come look at it at all hours of the day. And we get a text this morning showing. I was like, no, because you can't take a shower. Because they don't want the showers wet. You got to pack up all your stuff. Basically, act like nobody's living there. But you're living there. So it'd be fine if it was me and my wife, but with the 3 kids, it's very difficult. Feeding them, cleaning up the couch. So I couldn't take a shower. So do you think I look different? No, I'm serious. Because when I make fun of people, right, you can tell. Right? Like people, Rick's like, what do you, right? How asinine would it be? Like, no, I'm good. Right? It's like, man, I know you didn't take a shower. No, I didn't. Right? I know I don't even, for me personally, if I had to do an appointment or prospect somebody, I wouldn't even feel right. Now maybe that's in my head. I know that, there's times that you can just feel like, oh man, they're pressing my eye, where my hair is sticking up, I got hat head, whatever it is. Right? Anyway, so today's gonna be a great training. I got a lot of great stuff to go over. This is our first real practice of 2018. So I just got back from Atlanta yesterday, and once a year, the company does a senior leadership meeting. So senior leadership is anybody in the company that has a rolling 12 of $250,000 or more. They get invited to a kickoff meeting for the company where the CEOs and the leadership, they roll out the strategy, the theme, where we finished, what our goals are, our vision, and we plan for next year. Right? And they give some recognition. It's kind of like an end of the year gala. And so we went down. There was a phenomenal trip. We stayed. There's chairs here. There's chairs here. There's chairs here. We stayed at the Omni, and then they took us over to the Mercedes-Benz Dome, which, I guess all the stadiums that get built, they're all trying to compete with each other. So, they're saying this is the best NFL stadium in Dome. It was pretty cool. I mean, I'm a Mercedes guy, so I like Mercedes. I mean, the whole stadium is lined with AMG cars. I mean, it's just crazy, and different colors, green, blue, like exotic cars, and G-Wagons. And then obviously they have restaurants on the bottom floor, which I've never been, walking onto the field. And then the college football championship is getting played, I think, on Monday night, right? So they have, ESPN was at the hotel, so everybody was there. It was a really competitive experience in terms of sports, and then obviously being with everybody. And, I'm on the bus, and I'm sitting right next to Mario Arizona and Charlotte, right there. And, just talking about, just kind of observing them, hearing, how they're talking. Charlemagne's a good friend of mine, so I was talking to him for a little bit. Just hearing things and talking about dominating. And it's just inspiring. So I'm going to go through some of my notes and go through some training. But it should be a goal to people, obviously, in this meeting, to one day, if not in the near future, qualify. You've got to have an income goal, right? That was one thing that we heard a lot was grow your income, right? Grow your income. Grow your income. we heard and we talked, and you know, it was such a common theme, making money. I think it's thanks. Making money. Right? I had a talk with somebody before I left. You know, making money is not, shouldn't be confused about making money. Making money is just a result of KTs, man. Always remember that. You're not on appointments, you're not going to make any money. I don't care who you got in front of. If you're not on kitchen table appointments at night with people, you're not going to make any money. I don't care what videos you watch. I don't care what books you read. I don't care how much you prospect. If you're not on appointments at night, you're not going to make money. And we just heard that a lot. I mean, it was just such a theme. So, anyways, let's go through some of these. I'll jumble around here. So there were 500 people at this meeting. 500 couples. So they started doing this meeting, the first year they did this, when they started this senior leadership meeting, was 2013. So 13, 14, 15, they've done it for 5 years. This is the 5th year. When they started, there was 300 people. Now there's 500. So think about that. At that time, in 36 years, it took them 36 years to get 300, and in 5, they've already gotten another 200. That's the company, right? And so they went over, last year they had, you know, new 200, yeah, they had 491, so 500 couples. When this was done, they had another 8 people cross over 250. So last year, this is the company's stats. Recruits, 303,000 recruits. That's what Primerica did, 25,000 more. New life licenses, 48,500. That's a record. We licensed 50,000 people last year. And our life sales force is 126,300. That's how big our distribution is. Okay. Face amount issued, 95 billion last year. You know what? In those statistics in the op, what does it say? 583 billion or something like that. Was it 683 billion? What is it? So, in last year alone, we issued 95 billion. Wow. Think about that. 95 billion. Total in force now is 764 billion. Okay. 2017 claims paid. Okay, this is what we paid last year. 1.4 billion, a record. And total claims paid through our history is 21.3 billion. Investment sales, 6.1 billion. Assets under management, 58 billion. This is kind of funny. I don't know. Did they show the first session on TV? Did people watch this one? It's on the status. Okay, that was the second session. This is the first one. So, Primerica, since we've gone public, because you have the opportunity to, right? Once we get stock, go to RVP. Since the company's gone public, they've given 4,000 people stock. Okay? And they've given $100 million of stock that's now worth $313 million. $313 million to recipients of the stock. This is funny money, man. 25 new watches a month, every month. 25 people put over 50,000. Last year, 158 new $100,000 earners in 2017. And 211 people moved up diamonds, so they moved up either 400 or 500, 200 to 300. 20 a month. So these are the people. So they had, these people earned two diamonds during 2017. These people earned more than two. Okay, that means their income went up more than 200,000 from the previous year. So if you owe 200,000, that means you increase your income at least 16,000 a month. Okay. So Danny Chamorro went up 3 diamonds. He went up, and he almost went up 4. It's like he basically went up 4, but he didn't quite get there. So he's making $1 million. Now he's at making 1.1. Now he's at 1.48. He's almost at 1.5 million. He got divorced, what was it, 6 years ago, and his hierarchy, my hierarchy, right? My hierarchy does 105,000 a month. Listen to this, okay? So in my hierarchy, we do 105,000 premium a month. We do about 120, 130 clients a month, okay? Tomorrow's at basically 1.5 million. He'll be at 1.5 after January. I don't want to misspeak. I'll say 6. It might have been 5. 6 years ago, he went through it. This guy, when I first started in the business, he would do these meetings at the company trips. And he'd have so many couples, right? Remember, I'll tell you this? He was like a general. It'd be like 2 in the morning. He'd just be looking out the window, and his team would be meeting at a company trip, like 50 people, 25 couples. And he would just, I don't know what he was spitting, because he's got this Cali, like, he's got a nasally gangster voice. So like in Training Day. And he's just spitting for hours. I'm like, what is this? Is an army. And then he went through a nasty, his whole business fell apart. 5 years ago, I'll call it 6. His hierarchy did 60,000 in premium. That's half of what we do. And call it 6 years later, I was telling him, he owns the company. I mean, he got the award. They give the Heisman Award. He got it for the SNSEs. He got it because even the other guys, they didn't move up as much as him. So he went up 300,000. Joe Ward went up 300,000. Mike Evans went up 300,000. Sam Shepard went from 1.5 to 1.8 million. 300,000. Fernando and Joanna Torres, 400,000. Gus Gonzalez, 400,000. And Willie and Lorena, 600,000. They increased their income they went from 700 to 1.3. You want to hear something crazy? Willie in his base shop. Licensed 350 people last year. In his base. I was like, damn, I did 450 recruits. He licensed 350 people in his base. And they take the test in English, and they're all Spanish. Their entire training is Spanish. So not only did he just slap us, the company, not me, obviously, but what are our excuses? The guy's already making 700. He doesn't need to work. And he did 350 people in his base. In his hierarchy, I don't know how much they did. They probably did 1,000 posts last year. I mean, probably. Check it. Check through 6 licensing. So we had $5 million earners last year. People went $1 million a year. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17 people go over $500,000. Okay. I thought this was cool. Okay, these are new RVP's cash flow. Okay, these are RVP cash flow jumps at the RVP level. Okay, somebody made $500 in 2016. In 2017, 91,000. Now they may have came in the last month of 2016. All right, this is Manny and Karina Masood under Arizon's Tony and Manal Masood. $529, and now it's at 91,000. We had somebody at $2,300, now at 82,000. 26,000, now at 103,000. 17,000, now at 84,000. 40,000, now at 200,000. That's Diana. She started in 2016, 40,000, now 200,000. These are RVPs, not SVPs, not NSDs. You find out?
922.
922 licenses in his hierarchy. That's building like that. That's a new hierarchy in 1 year. 1,000 code hierarchy pays you $1 million a year. So he just built it in 1 year. That's insane. So let me go over some of my notes. I was telling a couple people were texting me during the meeting, and I think that Primerica's MIT is the best meeting that they do. It's the new RVP meeting. So when you get to RVP, they fly you, you and your partner, and they have like an RVP boot camp, and they keep you for what is it, 4 days, 3 nights, right? Is it 3 nights?
It's like 3 nights.
Yeah, 3 nights, 4 days, and you have a class of all the new RVPs, and that's the private. And then you're just coached by millionaires. You have to be a $1 million earner to be there. And I think that's the best meeting to do. The meeting I went to though, and I went to MIT. I went back to MIT as a speaker because they invite the top 3. I went back as the #1 RVP in my class, and I went to speak at MIT. And then it's just millionaires. That's the best meeting that the company does. Like yesterday's meeting, or last 2 days, I was telling people it was right under that. That's how good of a meeting it was. I don't know what the company, where we are, the focus that we have, and just the message that everybody was, on the same page. And it was an unbelievable meeting. I needed the meeting. I needed it for me, for where I am. And so these are some of the nuggets that I got. I think the biggest thing that I got was from Omar Payson. I thought that he did just an unbelievable job. So he's a good friend of mine, and he went up there and he really just talked about Willie. That's all. He didn't talk about him. He didn't say anything. He goes, "Hey, I'm just going to show you what Willie did." And he said a lot of different things. Okay? But the couple things that I got from him. Okay, number 1 was about licensing. And some adjustments that we're going to make, and I think that we need to get on the same page with, as a group, as a team. So, Willie, in a 10-year period, got 80 licensed directs. Okay? That's 80 here. Now, some of those probably quit. He may have gotten a direct and say, I get a licensed direct John, and John recruits 4 or 5 people direct to him over a 6-month period, and they quit, and those 5 directs roll up. Okay? So that number, we don't know that number. Okay? We don't know how
impressive that number or where that number. 80. It doesn't sound that much. It could be a lot. Could be less. I don't think it's as daunting as 80 licensed directs. Okay. From that 80, in a 10-year. Just listen. See, in a 10-year period, okay, he has 80 licensed people direct to him. Okay, 80. From that, he has 9 first-generation RVPs. Now, you get replacement. That doesn't mean that all of these came from his direct recruits. And he had 19 people in his base produced last year. Okay, so he's 19 wide in his base shop. And that paid him $1.3 million last year alone. $80 licensed people in 10 years. That's 8 a year. Nine first-generation RVPs, 19 in the base shop, produced $1.3 million of income. That's what, $110,000 a month? $110,000 a month. So Omar was saying some things, and he did this funny training. It was really funny. He showed some text messages that people have been asking for. Who wrote this? You know, he didn't say it. So I guess some people call him or something like that. And he was just kind of making fun. But it was really powerful. He's like, it's funny. I get all of these things because everybody wants to know what he's doing. What is the secret, right? Because some people have this disease. There's 2 diseases, right? There's 2 diseases that people get in Primerica. One is the flavor of the week disease. There's always up and coming people, and they're really good. And sometimes they make you seem like what they're doing is actually like the recipe, right? When we started, Brandon Neal has this thing called Team Captain. And Team Captain was a great thing. We adopted it. It's a trick play. It's not anything. Then it could be qualified district leader. Then it could be fast start bonus. Then it could be, sometimes, usually it's not the guidelines. You have to have a feel of the business, right? And you have to understand economic climates and things like that. But there's no flavor of the week, and there's no magic bullet. Okay, that's the second disease. Anybody know what the magic bullet disease is? Huh? The secret! Right? If there was a magic bullet, I would have found it, and I'd still have my hair right now. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Right? Right, John? I'd have found it by now. Right? So, they showed Willie's numbers and his recruits, and you know what his recruit to code ratio is? 16%. He's like, he doesn't license anybody. It's not like he licenses 30-40% of people. He's 16%, but he just recruits more people. But Omar did go through some things that I think that are very helpful, things that he said. Number one, he said, I've never hired a licensing coordinator. He said, I've always been my licensing person. He just gave some, and this is me kind of just talking about it because this is something I'm going to do, especially with my day show, because I think it'll help. So when it comes to my base, and I have a few people in here from my base, I'm going to call all. He calls all his recruits after they've been recruited. Okay. So anytime somebody gets recruited, he calls. And if you know Omar's a very passive-aggressive person. So he makes a lot of statements and digs a lot of people. Right? So what did he say right after that? he said, you know, he goes, this always lets me know who's putting in fake recruits. Right? That was a dig at somebody in the company, right? Or somebody even on his team. He's like, he goes, see, some of you guys say that you, and this is what he said, he goes, some of you guys, you say that you're recruiting people, but you're not. You're putting in phones. That's what he said. Right? He's like, so I call, and I introduce myself, and I invite everybody to the next training. And these are very fundamental things, but I always did them. I don't do them anymore, but you know, I don't do them anymore. Obviously, that's why our licensing is not where it needs to be. I always invite them to training. I always call the recruit when they schedule class. Now in Florida, they go to class. I call the recruit when they schedule their exam. And I call the recruit when they fail. So, call the new recruit when recruited. Call when they schedule class. Call when they schedule their exam. Call when they fail. Obviously, you're going to call when they pass. And this responsibility lies on the RVP. Everything you're doing is just trying to improve the odds. Always remember, it's a numbers business, but everything you're doing is just trying to improve the odds. Okay. So, a lot of people talk about adversity, and it's funny because there are so many superstars in the company that people that are doing really well, but they're not the superstars, like some of the people I you know, like Tanya Poe, right? She goes up there, she talks. And she had a great year, but it was nothing like some of the other people. So she's like apologizing the entire time. Like she's up there because, you know, if she makes 600 grand, right? What's her income? Huh? So call it 600, and Willie went up 600. She has awareness, so she's not going to go up there and be her normal Tanya Poe self, because it's like, yo, the dude coming up after me, he made 7 and just jumped 6. These are the type of people in Primerica, right? It's just like, damn, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane. So people are up there and they're doing great, but they're apologizing the entire time that they're talking. So it's funny when people get humbled, right? Because when you're Tanya Poe, you're Tanya Poe. I mean, you're Tanya Poe. But if sometimes, you know, someone will send somebody, right? I don't know, whatever you, higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, will send somebody and say, hey, you ain't shit. Yeah. Look at this dude. And you're just like, damn, dude. Right? And so we heard a lot from a lot of different people, and they always, it's funny, they're doing great, and they're always talking just about adversity. Okay? And I thought about this with our team. Because I thought it was really appropriate. Okay? It said, what grows you as a person is your problems. Problems grow you as a person. You've heard that before? But then they said this. What grows you as a person is problems, adversity, not drama.
Wow.
There's a difference between drama and problems. Drama and real adversity. A lot of you guys love drama, man. Right? You love it. You're a glutton for it. I'm looking at you. You are. Let me see. Who loves it? Look, man. problems are going to You're a drama queen. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. And you saying no shows that you're fighting it. I know sometimes you think I'm making fun. I don't need to make fun of you. It doesn't make me feel better. I really mean that. I do some things to lighten it up, but, you know, look, you're running a business. You got to get your personal life in order. I'm not saying I've always had my personal life in order. I'm not. I have not. Okay? But I know when my business went up and my income went up is when I had less drama. Problems are always there. You know, dad gets a heart attack, kids get sick. These things happen, you know, I mean, stuff happens in your family. That you can never avoid. But drama that it's called self-inflicted gun wounds. That's what they are. We have to eliminate. You know, Samir and I were just talking earlier, right? And we were just talking before the meeting. And he said something that Bill Whittle had said. And it's very appropriate, right? Like, who are you listening to right now? Who's in your ear? Who are your friends? Who do you thank for what you're doing? Who do you spend time? Like, I see it, right? I don't like seeing it. That's why I don't like being on social media. I don't even like seeing Venmo. I don't even want to know who you're paying to hang out. It's like, really? You're hanging out with that person? You're letting that person in your ear? Like, I don't judge, so I'll never say anything because I got my own life, I got my own kids, I got my own family. It's like, no wonder you don't make any money. No wonder you can't keep anybody around. No wonder your production's going down and down and down. And you start feeling bad. Who are you hanging with? Who are you, and then, okay, there's hanging with, and then who are you listening to in Primerica? Who? And you know, I don't even like doing this. But you know, some of you guys, even the people you're following on social media, you're watching the videos. Do you know anything about their business? Do you know anything about their life? Do you know how they came up in Primerica? Do you know their track record? Do you? Do you know how much money they have saved in their bank account? You know, you follow them, you literally go right off the cliff. And that's not to make myself feel better, but I'm a freaking veteran in this company. I'm not hey, you know Diana, as good as she was, that was me. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you know how many people, they come number one, they're not in the company anymore? RVP, MVP, new RVP, MIT number one, SVP, MVP, NSC, and I'm not saying I'm number one, I'm not, but I'll keep moving up. I'm like American Funds. We're not in trouble with the company. I'm not in the headlines. I'm not getting fined by people. FINRA's not coming after me now. God bless, right? And I gotta pray. I mean, I'm blessed, but I know there's still issues. I'm not saying that we don't have issues. I got tons of issues. But that's the company you're part of. You know, Jimmy Meyer at a trip a long time ago, what did he say? He goes, hey, I'm going to come out and tell you, I got $6 million saved. Remember that? And I was thinking, like, you made $2 million. Only 11 people in our company made $2 million. This is back when $2 million was $2 million. Now, he may have gotten divorced and things like that. That obviously, you know, when you get divorced, you have a family that wealthy that make your money. And I was thinking, like, damn, okay, I'm going to get there. Who are you listening to? Who? Who's in your phone? Who's in your last dialogue? Who did you call? Who called you? Who had minutes on your log? Who? Who? I don't even have to call you guys all the time. I just say, hey, just check in with me. People forget. Don't slip into these bad habits this year. You know, it's not humorous. It's not good entertainment. It's drama and stupidity. And what was Bill Whittle referencing? Because this is important.
Why Collis didn't hit his goals.
This is Bill Whittle coaching Collis Temple. And he's saying, who are you listening to? Right?
Yeah.
The Collis, man, you didn't hit your goals because you're listening to the wrong people. You're going away from what I taught you. Now, I'm not that type of leader, and I'm not like, Bill Whittle's not that type of leader either, so I'm not saying it like that, but I should probably micromanage more. I'm not gonna, but you just gotta be wise enough to not listen to other people, okay? Because that can easily sink you. And that's even in the office, right? I mean, there's people in the office, you guys are friends, for what? Say hi, say bye, be cordial. I don't want you to respect your teammates, but what do you guys doing on the weekends? You guys talking about 0 + 0 is 0? Hey, my closes don't work and yours don't either. Maybe we combine them, we can infect everybody else. Hey, I was talking to this person. I'm all about cross-pollination. And, I'm the first person to get on a three-way call with other people if I feel something, if Shay needs to help me because, somebody's a single mom or African-American from Cali or she wants my help because of this. We'll cross-pollinate, but you guys are not being smart. This is a business meeting. And you have coaches and you have some assistant coaches, and really that's all you should be listening to. And always remember, people when they show a 15-minute video, that's what it is. A 15-second clip, it's a clip. It's not their life, it's a clip. And when people give a speech on stage, that's what it is. It's a speech on stage. My life is not a speech. You guys know my kids. I bring them to the office. You know my wife, right? I'll say something. Oh, ha, ha, ha. You watch that TV show, my wife will call me out. Oh, you've seen it too. Right? Right? You guys grew up with me. You know what we are. You know the business. You know the people. Right? I mean, be smart this year. Be intelligent. No freaking drama. Problems will come. No drama. No BS, stupid stuff. It's not going to take us anywhere. You have a question?
I was just wondering, are there people that you have in mind? I don't know if you're allowed to
I
say
do,
that.
but I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
No,
I'll do it. I'll do it.
No, but
No, no,
just,
no. Yeah, I'll
you
do
don't
it.
know, like,
What?
No, it's not about mentioning names. It's about, okay, I'll give you an example. So, if Josh comes to me, because he can handle it, so that's why I'll use this example. If he comes to me and he's like, hey, I'm on social media, and these guys are, flashing how much cash they have, or, they're driving these kinds of cars, or they're wearing these kinds of clothes,
I was telling Jen this yesterday. I got into a conversation with Coker and Joe Ward, right? We were just hanging out at the dome, and we were talking. 'Cause I'm friends with them, you know. I know Dr. Coker's my upline, so you know. And I'm sitting there hanging out with Joe Ward and Coker, and what does he say to me? And my wife is right there. They both started clowning me so hard on my income. I mean, it was, my wife wanted to pull me out because it was so uncomfortable. They're like, oh, you know, Joe's like, man, what? He said, dude, you're just letting everybody go by you. And I was like, what's that? Everybody. And then Coker, I thought Coker would kind of defend me. He's like, no, he's already wealthy. He's really comfortable. And then they just started going on. They love me. They're my friends. Joe's my friend. I could call him anytime right now. He'd help me take a conversation with me. Right? When he came and did our event, I called him. I called him. I was like, hey, Joe, can you come speak for our event? A long time ago. You guys weren't in the business. Probably 2008 or 9. He just won 400,000. Then went down to 200. Now he's back at 900. Right? So I know he, you know, is he my best friend in the whole world? No, but he's a peer. He's somebody who's been there. He's somebody that he knows the talent that we have, and he knows that I shouldn't be hanging out down here, because if I'm hanging down here, you are where you are, and I can only go up if you go up. I didn't look at that as like, man. I was like, yeah, that's true, man. I need to, you know, this conversation. I need to have more of these where somebody's saying, what are you doing? I don't need people to be patting me on the back and say, hey, what I did in 2008 was awesome. I need somebody to say, man, come on, get off your butt and freaking go to work. Your team is better. They're counting on you. You know, this is all that they're saying. They have a different way of saying it. And I'm just like, yo, can you at least, you know, we're boys. Can you at least do that when I'm here and my wife's not here? You know, you're going to freaking put me on Jump Street right there in front of her? No, they didn't. You think they no freaking mercy. You know, I wasn't like offended. I didn't call Jen and say, oh man, F those guys, they're racist, you know. They hate me. You know, it's not a personal attack on you. It's like, look, man, if you keep making the same mistakes, you can keep getting what you got, man. You know, Neil Gerfine said it, and it was hilarious. He goes, the funny thing is you guys don't understand. You're talking about to get biblical on y'all. He's like, there's wolves, you know what they are. There's sheep, you know what they are. He goes, the problem is there's some sheep, but there's some wolves, they're just dressed like sheep. I was like, damn, because it's true. It's like, yo, who are you? You don't know. They're dressed like sheep, but they're pulling you down. They're negative. Oh, it's harder, you know, this and that. You know, and they're real subtle about everything that they say and how they say it, and the company and how it is, and it's hard, and oh, you don't know about QBI yet. Really? What are you trying to do? You're enlightening people? No, you're negative. That's what you're doing. You're trying to be negative. I see this. I see a freaking 100-page PowerPoint of how our company just set a huge record, and we're already the #1 company. Right? It's like, hey, you know, Georgia, right? They're in the national championship, and that's awesome, right? Alabama, they're there every year, right? They're there. They already have the winning playbook. We're freaking Alabama. We're the New England Patriots. We're the Golden State Warriors. That's who we are. We're freaking dynasty. Every year we win 70 games. Every year we're the #1 seed. Right? So it's just, you know, if Josh, and I'm all for people being creative, right? I mean, if you learn something from somebody on Facebook and it can help you, great. I mean it. But there's also, you got to be careful with it too, because, you know, sometimes you can just, you know, you can go off the cliff, man. You can easily go, I see it, you know. And you know, this was a huge talk, you know, that they had, John Carlo Gigoni talked about it. And he did just an amazing job. I mean, his speech, and all these, Peggy Hightower did the best, and Gigoni did the best in terms of the talk. I'll talk about Peggy Hightower's in a minute. And Gigoni, he goes, you don't understand what financial independence is. He goes, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. He goes, I've been in this business. He makes $1 million a year. He's very successful. He's like, I've been in this business for years. He's making $800,000-900,000 for like 20 years. He just went over $1 million, but that's, you know, it doesn't change his life. His income was so high for so long. He said, at first you think it's just not having a job. Then you think it's having toys. Then you think it's passive income exceeding your living expenses. He goes, but until shit happens, then you're never going to understand what financial independence is. He's like, my mom got sick. He's like, my mom got sick. And I was there, and he just said, he goes, I was there every day. Every single day. I didn't have to take off work. I got the best treatment, this and that. He goes, and then, you know, there's programs, because, you know, he's in Canada. He's like, there's programs where you get a nurse. And you get a nurse for 3 or 4 days. Or 3 hours a day. He's like, no. I had a group of nurses at my mom's house 24 hours a day. He's like, normal day shift, $25. In the evenings and overnights, it's double and triple time. And I still was there for as much as I could be. And then I had a staff of nurses taking care of my mom. That's financial independence. And you know why I said that? He goes, because you guys, it's so funny. Because it's funny, because some people, when they go up there, they dig at people. He goes, you guys need to save your money. You guys need to save your money. You know, I've seen so many people, they flash shit. They're not even in this company. They're selling for freaking Lincoln right now. Lincoln. They're selling annuities now. So many people. They're motivational speakers. That's what they're doing. They're life coaches. They had all the money. They were top. They got the biggest plaques in the world. They spoke at the trips, and they did all. I've seen it all. I've seen people at the company trip do the worm on stage. They try to give a motivational speech. I've seen people cry. You know what I mean? Like really, like force it. Not like some people that just cry. Like Peggy Hyde said she was crying, right? I don't get that. I mean, they're trying to like. Right? So powerful. What was powerful about it? It's fake, man. And I'm not knocking Primerica. I'm just saying it doesn't not even be Primerica. All this self-improvement bullshit, man. I look at it, it's like, who is it? Who are you? Who are you? Have you built something? You're an author. Have you gone door to door? Have you sold insurance before? Have you done investments before? Have you rolled over a 401k before? Have you educated somebody? Have you helped your client save their first $10,000? Have you helped the client pay off $10,000? How are you going to teach me about my business? No, I learned from Bruce Call, who grew up in freaking Wheaton and Potomac. And I learned from Christian David, who was a waiter at Gaithersburg, and you know, now he has 1,000 licensed people. I learned from Jim Coker, who went to Fairfax High School and did the same business I'm doing. I'm not saying I read all the books. I'm not saying that. I do, but I'm not freaking duped by these self-improvement idiots. And some of the people in the company, they get like that. They really do. And I'm all for it. You know, Shay's the first person to say, hey, you know what, you should probably show your money a little bit more. I'm like, and what do I say? Yeah, you're right. I'm conflicted. Right? I'm questioning. Right? LGBTQ. I'm questioning.
I just got a text from one of my
Yeah. Don't turn this on.
It's working just fine.
Doing anything productive. All right, I gotta get back to you. Go ahead, you turn. You turn on?
It's been on.
There's no sound?
No, that sounds. Sounds on.
All right, so anyways, you know, Gerfine, he talked about full-time mentality in your team. He said creating a full-time environment, and you know, I thought that was really appropriate. He said something about activity as a full-time. And I thought this was really good. He said, the problem with full-time is that you're gonna, and it's so appropriate to what I was saying a couple of weeks ago, just he said it a lot better than me, is that you're doing a lot of work and you feel like what? You're working in vain, right? I'm making these calls, but is this call the one? Like, we all try to figure out, I want to go one for one. I want to make the one call that's going to lead to the recruit, and the one recruit's going to be the district leader, and the one district leader is going to go to RVP. And that does not work. And he quoted Jim Rohn, right? And he said, you know, Jim Rohn said something that I lived by, and he said, share, 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 share. He said, even though the people you share your story to, they only hear it once, and you did it 10 times, your subconscious hears it 10 times. So you give a recruiting story, you make 50 recruiting calls, you make 15 STEAM calls, and you're talking about how we're the biggest, we're the best, we have an opportunity, we want to get you into management, and you try to get them in for an interview. And I know it sucks because most people don't show up and you feel you waste your time, but your subconscious heard it. Your subconscious toughened you up. Your subconscious went through the cash flow quadrant. Your subconscious went through passive income. Your subconscious went SVP and having 3 RVPs and owning and building 15 to 20. See, if you just hear it from me, it doesn't build your subconscious enough. And it's true, man. You know, obviously when you don't do this business, you're feeling what? Man, I am working in vain. Man, I'm wasting my time. I could be doing other things. This whole business is a waste of time. Always remember that. Everything you do is not going to work out. It's a minority of times that it works out. But you only need a few people. You know, Mario Arizona has 4 people in that meeting. That makes 250, and he makes 1.6, 1.7. Willie has 1 person. Willie had 1 person in that meeting. Tanya Pope, 1 person in that meeting. Joe Ward, 2 people in that meeting. These are the questions I ask people when I met them. Oh, how many you got? Or and then when they go up and talk, that's what they say, because they know I need to grow this number. As good as Tanya Poe is, as much as she recruits, as much as clients as she recruits, as good as her system is, she got 1 person there, and she makes $600 grand a year. Mario, 4 people. Willie, licensed 350 people, has the best hierarchy in the company right now. 1 person in that meeting. 1. You only need a few. You get 1 builder, 1 hierarchy builder, 1 freaking killer, you're good. All right, I'm going to leave these new. They send me brochures out.
It's all on paper. It's on paper.
I'll leave some of this really good stuff on. You know, some of the stuff I remember. A lot of stuff on the crusade. So pull up the presentation real quick. We're going to go through it. Ricky will help me make some adjustments to this. I appreciate it, Ricky. You're doing a great job. Oh my God! Hers was it. Hers. Okay, so she just did a talk. But it was just like, you know, really, really powerful. And it was very spiritual. So, you know, I don't talk much about spiritual stuff, but I am pretty spiritual. I believe in God. You know, I pray a lot. I need to get better in that area as well. But I'm a God-fearing man. Meaning I know that there's a lot of miracles and a lot of things. And, you know, just, you know, I believe in God. I pray. You know, I ask for prayers. So even though I don't talk about it as much as some other people, they might be a little more vocal. You know, that's not me dismissing or anything like that. That's just, you know, so I enjoy the talk. So I'm not, you know, it's not like, you know, this and that. You know, so, and I love hearing Peggy Hightower. And she, whatever I did, whatever I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to do a decent job of explaining what she said, multiply it by 1 billion, that's how good she was. I mean, it was that good. Like, it was, like, I have never seen a group like that mesmerized. I mean, so she said, and I don't know if anybody's heard this story. I had never heard it. Okay, so I had never heard this story. And so it was even better if it was the first time I'd ever heard the story. And I hear her talk a lot. Right? I've done her event, she's done our event. I mean, I know Peggy, and I know her son, and I knew her late husband very, very well. I never heard this story. She said, growing up, my mom, her life goal was to have 4 kids. 2 boys, 2 girls. And she had that. She had 2 boys, 2 girls. And she had her tubes tied. She didn't want any more kids. None. And my mom got pregnant with me. And my mom, and this is your mother, okay? Now some of you guys may deal with this, okay? But it's still not, I'm not trying to say anything. Just, what I'm saying. Said, my mother took that out on me. She would literally ask me, why are you here? How are you here? I don't want you. I didn't have any brothers and sisters. They were already grown before I came into this world. And I didn't know why my mom didn't love me. And being a child, all I did was fight for my mom's love. That's all I did. That's all I did. All I did was fight for my mom's love, and she never did. Never. And I did everything my parents asked me to do. I went to school, I went to good grades, I got a nursing degree, I was the hardest worker, this and that, I wasn't free. And she was like, I forgave my mom, I forgave my parents. And she's like, well, when I got in this business, it was so hard for me to do this business. And the fight in me as a child came back out. And because I had been fighting my entire life, I just started fighting. And she went on this, and I was literally like it was a movie. It was like the best movie I'd ever seen. I was just like, it was just, and she just went on how she's a fighter, and how she fought to win this business, and how she was in a dream, and the coaching, and everything that she went through, and all this stuff, and how she met her husband, and she met her other husband, her husband died, and everything, and just talking about, and it was all basically God has a plan for you. Like every person on this earth, God has a plan for. Every person on this earth, there's a plan. It's a strong plan, it's a great plan, and God has a plan for you. And it was just, the thing, and I told Samira, it's funny because I've never seen anything like this. The night session, Glenn Williams comes on, and this is when Omar, Peggy, Jagoni, all these guys, Gerfine, Glenn comes on and goes, hey, this is the night session. And we never do a night session in the senior leadership meeting. He goes, this is the night session. He goes, you see this? And we're looking around. He goes, there's no cameras here today. We're not recording this. He goes, this is a locker room talk, and they're going to let it rip. And they let this thing rip like, I had never, it was like, what did I tell you? I was like, dude, I've never been in a session. This was the best session I had ever heard. Peggy and Jagoni killed it. Jagoni was just unbelievable. And Omar, but Peggy just, it was just so freaking good, man. It was just like, it was just awesome. It was great. She did a phenomenal job. I can't even, like I said, I think I delivered the message, you know what I mean? But not the way she, not the way obviously she delivered it. It was great. It just, obviously, her husband died a few years ago, I think, of cancer. And so for her to say what she said and be up there, her daughter's there, or some, they were all there, it was just, you talking about her hierarchy, and, she has she has white hair. It's like snow on top, fire in the furnace, I'm gonna come to whoop your all's ass. It was just such a freaking good talk. It was really good. Yeah, like snow on top, fire in the furnace, whoop your all's ass. But it was a really very, very, and I love that stuff. I never get big, but I love that. I love when people talk from the heart, and they've done something before. She's an SNSD, it was just great. So anyway, let's go through this pretty quickly. So we made some adjustments here. So I was telling a couple people, if you look at any business that's exploding, Joe Ward, Willie, and some of the business, Ian Prucker, some of the businesses that I know, I don't know some of them, but I know some people and I've learned from Willie about what they do in their sales process. They get into the insurance conversation pretty quickly. Okay? So they start presenting and then they find out, Sophia and I were talking the other day, right? And what did you say? With the client, and you were like, hey, our Williams 2-part close, it's that, right?
Oh, I was listening to that video, like some other old timer, guy who would just like in the beginning he would
oh yeah, Mike Tuttle, or no?
Mike Tuttle, yeah, he would just.
He had a 90% QBI or something like that. He was like, yeah, 90% QBI. This was, yeah.
And he would just go back.
And he would go and sit down with the client and then come back and close, dissect the policy, and 90% QBI. And I was like, wow, that's great. And Mike Tuttle is a hero in the company. He's a legend. He's another. Mike Tuttle is a guy that he was in Cabo. He loves going to Cabo, right? That's Mike Tuttle. He goes to Cabo, and he's one of the biggest philanthropists in this company. Okay? So this guy can't see, right? This kid can't see. Like 2 kids? Is it 1 or 2? One kid can't see because, he's taking all his doctors, they don't know, but it's a back surgery that he needs. And so what was his dad was a taxi cab driver or a cleaner of the house or something like that?
No, I remember the story as he gets a ride from a cab driver, starts asking about his family. He's like, I have 2 sons. He's like, but one of them can't walk because his eyes are crossed so bad. And so he goes, take me to go see your family. And then so he met the kid, and then he got the best doctor to fix his eyes, so now the kid can walk.
Yeah. That's Mike Tuttle. Like everybody knows that about Mike Tuttle. Mike Tuttle is that guy. Like he donated. Just building orphanage. They had a thing on him at the convention. He builds orphanages, ministry. He's the deal. So, when I'm saying this, I'm not disrespecting Mike Tuttle, okay? But I said that's great. I said that's awesome. And when I grew up in the business, that's what we did. We did a 2-part close. Did we ever close on the first?
No.
Never. Right? We never closed. But I said now people. But that's back in the day when Mike Tuttle wrote business. People have whole life, and everybody had a whole life policy. So you picked up a policy. And you go back and dissect it, and you exchange dollars. Say, hey, look, you get $100,000 for $100 a month. I'll give you $600,000 for $100 a month, right? What are we fighting? So you got to understand, what are we fighting in insurance? Let's just talk about insurance. What are we fighting? Group and no insurance. And when you have group or no insurance, you start thinking, what? I ain't gonna die. I don't need this. This is a bill. That's what we're fighting. We're not fighting. If everybody had whole life, I like it. Does anybody like when they have cash value? Yes. Do you like it when they have cash value? Not just a big check, it's just I don't have to explain the need for insurance. See, this presentation is not, hey, no. This is, we're out there. I know what we're fighting. I know what's going on in the economic climate. I talk to people. And this isn't, and I'm not trying to be stupid. This isn't poor people. This isn't uneducated people. This isn't minorities. This is everybody. I know a lot of people that, hey, no. I'll check with my benefits package. These are educated people. These are people that make $150,000 a year. They have the same ignorant, stupid mentality when it comes to life insurance. They love their group. They don't want to pay for this. They don't understand. Insurance is like the freaking greatest thing in the world. You can pay $100, and if something happens to you, your family has freaking hit the lottery. I don't prey upon my death, but I know if something happens, my family's so freaking set financially. Because what? I got insurance when I was young, and I pay a couple $100 a month for millions of dollars of coverage. I look at people, I sit down with people, they have a minor health issue, they're 45, they pay $100 for like $75,000. I'm like, dude, I pay $100 for like, my first $100 app was like literally $850,000 of coverage. $850,000. $850,000. So you got to understand what the presentation is designed to do, where it's designed to do it, how it's designed, and what it's designed to combat. Because sometimes, you got to understand, the majority of people, what they have, what they believe, what they feel. So, as we go through this and we make this even better, right? Because we're going to go through some of the adjustments that we've made. Two, let me give you the psychology again. We haven't trained on this in a long time, okay? So I'm going to go through it again and, talk about it. So, what are we doing here? Managing expectations. So the book that Samir gave me, Start With Why, right? That Robert gave Samir, right? Which is an amazing book. I mean, now you want to read the other books they wrote, right? Are they good as good? Or?
One is it.
So, he says, this is what people do. They go in and they sit down and say, hey, Luis, I make millions of dollars a year. Hey, Luis, we have 50 offices. Hey, Luis, our company is the biggest, baddest company in the world. And that does not resonate with anybody, right? And he gives a specific example in the book, says, hey, I'm proud to work for a company where everybody loves what we do and we make an impact in the community. And because we hire people like that and we look for like-minded people like that, our results speak for themselves. We have 5,000 offices. We're the #1 company. Just by starting with a little bit of a mission. Okay? So, the presentation, it kind of coincidentally did some of that, meaning to do an even better job of that. RDB? No one gets that? I thought that would give me, I'm cool. Okay. Yeah, so it coincidentally did some of these things, but I think we can do an even better job. But when we're creating an enemy, when we're talking about why the financial industry is awful, right? Like these words and these stats have to come out. Like, you gotta hate the financial industry, man. You really do. Every leader talked about the crusade. Everybody. Everybody talked about how the financial industry is screwing people over, right? See, when you're giving a presentation, leave all your baggage out. We know it's tough. We know you don't have any gas in the tank, literally in your car. We know it's cold outside. We know you got bills. We know, your phone could come off at any time. I get all that stuff. But when you give a presentation, you're giving 10 that day, it's that person's only one. And you got to do a great job, okay? You got to do an unbelievable job, right? So when you talk about how bad it is, it's bad, it's bleak, right? And when you talk about the financial industry, you got to pull a couple of these stats out that bother you, right? Like, I tell people, like, this stat is kind of even irrelevant in what we do. Does this matter? No, it doesn't. But I just talk about how financial companies don't want consumers to get ahead. That's what I'm talking about. And this shit bothers me. It really bothers me that people take fees. I mean, because my banking tries to get fees so they can feel that this is genuine. I'm not, companies aren't paying you. Debt companies want you in debt. And there are companies that can help people, but they're only going to work with rich people. I want to touch somebody, man. I want somebody to say, man, oh yes, what's wrong with this picture? What is wrong with the picture? And our company is different. This is where we're starting with why, okay? This is where we're starting with, our company was founded by a teacher. Our company was founded by somebody, his mom got ripped off by a financial company, and he was the eldest of 4 kids, and he saw his mom struggling. He created a company for middle-class people, and we teach people. We help. See, you're talking about the love you have for the company, right? We can smack them in the face with this book all we want, and you need to know this stuff, and you need to have this in your arsenal, okay? That's not all going to come out, but this is where you're starting to say, man, we love what we do. We love working here. This is what a recruiting and selling is what? Always, Zig Ziglar said this. Selling is what? A transference of belief. Write that down. Selling is a transfer of belief. So your belief level has to be so freaking high. Then we talk about our company and how a company that's completely unorthodox is now the #1 financial services company. And we go through this pretty quickly. Okay, this is just more credibility. This is what we do. Now, so instead of going through all the slides, and Ricky, you can help me here. Okay. Instead of look at this is on the phone and stuff like that. So, we know this slide, right? Most people don't plan a failure plan. We talk about the financial, what we do for families. I carried around the sample. I don't go through it, but I just show them because I want them to see a hard copy as opposed to just, it just looks like this. It's a little bit smaller, and I say, hey, this is what we're going to build for you. This is what we do for our families. Establish financial priorities, calculate net worth, establish a PIN number, right? What does retirement mean to you? We talk about this, and Ricky, we'll change this to 3, 6, 12.
Okay.
All right. And you see, there's not as many questions. Okay. So all we're trying to do here is say what? What are we trying to do here? Yeah, exactly. That there are people that get 12%. There are people that get investment advice. There are people that have people looking at their money. There are people that are in investments. They're not in a bank, but you need a lot of money. And that's why we are an amazing company, because you don't need a lot of money to get started with us, and we can teach you about high interest rates, right? And $200 a month, we all know why we do this, right? This is because we want to find out what they're wasting. Okay, this is a very good slide and litmus test of where they are, because if a client is, hey, if I'm sitting down with OL, right, and he says, man, I don't waste any money, we don't have any money, we're behind on our bills, I'm going to dig a little bit more, because if they don't have any discretionary income, I'm out. I'm out. I'm literally planning my exit. Okay? I might ask for some referrals, or if they know some people, I might invite them back down to my office. But I'm not going to go through a 45-minute presentation with my trainee right there trying to wrestle out a quarter out of this person. But if they say, yeah, we waste a lot of money, I waste tons of money, I waste $30 a day, or yeah, I eat out all the time, or I go to a bunch of movies, or this and that, that's a huge thing for me. Because then I know I can get a check for them later. And I dollarize if I was to go to a lie detector, how much do you say you waste every day? I know some days you may not waste anything, but if you average it out, how much you waste, right? Every day. Convenience shopping, this and that. I'm luring them in with the trap. This is my favorite question in the whole presentation. John says, oh, we waste 20. I waste 20. I eat out, okay. Well, that's $40 a day. Well, you probably don't waste that much. Just say $15 a day. $450 a month. And then if they're like, that's great. Okay, goes back here, eliminate debt, understand coverage needs, what does financial independence mean to you? And you see we just took out a lot of the clicks, okay? It's going to be a lot of still conversations here, okay? So, what are we trying to do here? We're just trying to talk a little bit about insurance before we really go into it. And we're coming up with this script right now so you can have something that you can read. But basically it's how insurance and how investments work, and why you need insurance when you're young, because this is when you need it the most. Because if something happened to you, your family is permanently devastated, but later on you don't need insurance, you need to save money. So what do? We get you to save money, protect your family, and then later on you're self-insured. We'll get all the scripts down. Okay? I'm not going to go through that because I don't want to confuse you based on the last script. But in the last one, there was just too much clicking, the flows, this, that. We will change that, okay? We will put some more things in there, okay? We will put probably a few more clicks, but not many. To just allow you to dialogue, and this is one of the slides where you need to present. This is probably one of the most important slides, if not the most important slide in the presentation. It's very important, but we just need to take out some of the clicks, okay? Client benefit pages, same thing here. Can you see the difference it makes for a family goes with versus without? Which one do you like best? And then we get to the financial house, okay? So click on the retirement. Obviously if you're securities licensed, or if you want to talk about retirement, depending on the family, okay? You have to know and you have to use your judgment on when to go to retirement first, or when to do it on every appointment. Qualified plans is here. Okay, everybody knows this presentation. If you don't know it, you know this is a staple in our presentation. What's the point of the qualified plans presentation? Is to hopefully get them to do a Roth IRA. All right. Then the pecking order of retirement, and then you have your hypotheticals on the right. Okay. We also have the 401k rollover presentation and just a generic high cost of waiting. Okay. So everything that was in our old presentation is here. Qualified plans, 401k rollover, pecking order for retirement. There's a few other resources there if you need it. Okay. We're working on the data collection because there will be a data collection. If you do not have the data collection, use the old data collection because it's the same thing. All right? The 2-page data collection. Write that down if you don't know what I'm talking about. 2-page data collection. And we'll take those questions out. Take those out?
Yeah.
All right. Go back to the house. Okay. So we're working on these two. What are we going to have here, Rick?
We'll just be debt stacking before and after type stuff.
Yeah. So the debt elimination, if you feel, because some people, debt is the biggest thing, and you have to at least tell them a little bit about debt, right? We don't do much for debt anymore as a company, even though, you know, I was telling you know, we're partnering up. We're going to start doing loans again. You know, we're partnering up with Quicken Loans.
Wow.
Yeah, 30 loans. This.
No, I'm just saying, like, we're just talking about that forever. Maybe.
It's going to be a small pilot program in the start, but you know, Quicken is like.
Community is smart.
I don't know what it'll do. I'm not sure. I mean, it will be doing mortgages, so we'll see if it comes right now, but you know, we'll see. You know, I don't want to get too sidetracked. The regulations and the license is very difficult, but it's something that maybe can recruit people to, you know, help grow. Or, you know. If you have distribution, it can only make you more money, anything less. And then college, we'll just have a little basics on 529.
Yeah, I want to know that.
We'll find something about the 529, so you have it, okay? And, good. Huh?
What was it?
I don't know what you said.
I was saying.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how great your desire to become private protected debt free and financially independent, they say 10. Most of the time you're going to go into insurance. Sometimes you may go to retirement first. Let's say you go to income protection, and then we start talking about it. Good. All right, how much coverage do you have? Yes.
Sorry, I might have missed a couple of these, but then what is your lead-in percentage? Because we can in the past be like, oh, so you decide we go with financial.
You go through that. You go through the house and say, you know, we're going to start with the foundation, and you know, what if something happened? Would you ever hire somebody if they want to build your house with cheap material, not quality material foundation?
So you're saying that sometimes you would go into retirement.
Well, you know, I think that there are some people that are a little conflicted. Okay, I'm going to go into insurance first. Okay? That's my market. That's who I'm training. I could see somebody, you know, my old dad question went on retirement first. Okay, I'm not going to make everybody go through insurance. If this was designed to say, hey, these are our top concerns. Which ones do you pick? Right? Find out, because they should pick insurance. Okay, they should. Now, Samir, if they say retirement, what do you do?
Let's start with retirement first.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to that. If somebody wants to start with retirement first. If you feel they could have a lot of money, maybe it's not the best thing to go insurance first. Most of our clients, they don't.
So we would still ask like the old segue, which was, you know, kind of of these four, which two concerns you the most?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to figure out.
And even the data, doesn't your data go over retirement?
My data goes through retirement first. If I feel I'm not going to close the life, I'm going to go to retirement first. But I'm going to, me personally, I'm going to, and this isn't a choose your own adventure. There are different markets. I mean, you know, I had, like I said, this is all tried. You know, if I'm out with Kelvin, yeah, we're going insurance first. I mean, that's what we're there for. They know it. Kelvin even talks about it. He's like, hey, this person wants insurance. That's the way he sets up the appointment. okay? But, you know, there have been some of even his appointments, we couldn't go right away. Clients aren't ready to talk about it. You have to use a feel about it. It's a minority of appointments. It's all depends on the market. Me, I'm gonna, you know, one thing for me, this is just me personally, in you know, my quest as I'm training, as I'm going out there trying to create new district leaders and recruit clients, I'm not as good as I need to be on closing on the first, so I'm always going to pick insurance. Yeah, because now if they're older, they're not in the market, yeah, then maybe I go to retirement because I might be retired after. But 95% of my clients, I'm going to go through the insurance part. I'm going to just go try to get them to have that conversation and get better at running quotes, quoting them, getting insurance, and then moving on. Because that's the market that I'm in, and that's the market I think that the majority of our clients are. There are a few, because I talk to everybody. I'm not, you know, everybody on an appointment that they miss, I always ask, oh, you know, tell me what happened. Some of them, you know, you have to go here. That could change for me if I'm in a different market, right? So people have to be a little versatile. You know, Warren Powers taught me that a long time ago. He said, hey, you know, one thing I learned at the kitchen table, he said, every client is different. He goes, but that's how it is. He was using a basketball reference because his son plays basketball. He's like, it's true. No players are the same. You know, some people go left, some people go right. Some people come off the screen, they go to the hole. Some people come off the screen, they shoot. You got to know how to defend people differently. Some people, they back you in, they're heavy, right? Some people, they're finesse players. Every player is different, right? So every client is different. But we generally want a strategy. The strategy for the overwhelming majority of us is going to be insurance. Why is it always going to, why is it always going to be insurance? Number one, because that's our market. But number two is because what? Say it. Who said it? Right, you'll never have your license, ever. So you have to do insurance, right? This is not for you, Josh. You will never have this. Didn't you open your window in 2016? Did you? Huh? Did you? Have you got the 7 yet? Same new year, same old job. Soon. Who else is with it? Anybody else? What's your test? Soon. All right, go to the income protection. All right, how much coverage do you have? And then we go to the quadrant, right? They say, I don't have any. They say, I got 100,000. They say 100,000. If they say a number, do you feel overinsured, underinsured, not sure? They're usually going to say, I feel okay, or I'm not sure. I don't think anybody's going to say they're overinsured. I just asked this the other day with Calvin, and they said, no, we're good. Okay. I just want to see where I'm at. Right? They say they're good. Could be a hint of arrogance, could be a hint of ignorance, could be a hint of, they might be right. This client actually was kind of right. They just had the wrong type of insurance. But they had 400,000, and they made 40,000 a year. So they were right. Right? They were not wrong in saying it, right? See, a lot of times we're going to jump down to people's throat. No, we're just investigating, we're digging, we're finding out, we're asking questions, we're going to let them tell us, right? So how much coverage do they have? If they say they don't have any coverage, what do we say? We're going to go into no coverage. You don't have to jump down their throat. The presentation is going to do it, right? Now, you know, depends on where they are. I may go through employer coverage first, or I might just go to no coverage, okay? I'd say 50% of the time, I go through, what do you do if they have no coverage? Do you go to the group, or do you get the commitment first?
I guess if they're self-employed, I'm not going to bother with employer. And I'll even clarify with them, hey, are you sure you have none at your job? And they're like, oh, I think I might have something, so then I'll go through that first.
So I'd say about 50% of the time I go through group first. I'm always going to go through group. I always go through group because I have to teach my train me how to annihilate, unload, drop a freaking Scud missile on group insurance. Okay? Because if they start getting roadblocks at group, it stays with them forever. I just want you to understand that. Like I have agents, they still cannot overcome group insurance. And so you got one shot to unload on group. I got to get mentally ready to do it. And I always go through it because I always want to teach my client. And I would say about 75% of the time I show the video too, just to so that they know I'm going to destroy group, right? But say I go through no coverage first. Go ahead. Okay, currently you have no or very little life insurance on your own. Usually do one follow. Didn't see a need for it. Didn't pay me for it. Didn't get around. Which one describes? Which one describes you? So if you feel something you may need, is protecting your family important enough you'd be willing to set aside some money each month to take care of this? That's it, right? I mean, we're starting now. Now it's like, yo, we're closing now. Like we're getting into the closing conversation. You don't have protection, right? I'm gonna still take you through a little process. We're gonna date. We're gonna have a couple of days, but we're walking down the aisle in a couple minutes. This is perfect for you. Okay, it's perfect for you. We're getting there. Okay. If we can put together a program that'll be affordable for you, as many reasons you wouldn't implement the program. They might say some things, you know, I got to think about it, I got to make sure. But yeah, if it's affordable for us, and say, well, look, and I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to be very nice and professional and pleasant with this. See, I know it starts getting awkward here. Trust me. They feel like question. They know. Trust me, I'm not unaware. So I just want them to know. Say, no. Look, you know, John, what I'm saying is, I know you said that it's important to protect your family, and you don't have any protection. And so obviously you have to look at this and make sure it's good for you, but you want to put money away for this, and if it fits within your budget, it's something that you'd like to take care of, right? I mean, that's it. I mean, I'm not going to be really mean about it. I'm not going to be nasty about it. I'm going to be firm. I'm going to whisper. I'm going to be very polite. And I know it's just going to get awkward. Right now it is going to get awkward. That's just how it is. Then I'll go, hey, you know, I'm going to show you this. Do you mind if I take a minute and I just educate you on how group insurance you may have this issue? You know, some people actually, and then I'll go through this. I'm not going to go through that right now. I'll go through the group. Go back. Is it going to go back? I knew that. Don't go too far back. Thank you.
But Kathy has a question.
Yes.
So I had this next up. I had somebody, and they were just like so loyal to me. They just like didn't believe me about group. So they like.
Did you show them the video?
Did
you go through this?
I mean, yeah, we went through the
presentation.
Yeah, we went through the slide.
A lot of people are like that. Okay, so you're going to run into that. I don't know what it is, but they're just, you know, indentured servants. They believe their employees going to take care of them forever. You know, and I think Matt has done this before. He said this, and I do the same thing. I said, look, this is not your employer. Your employer hired an insurance company to take care of the benefits, and this is their policy. And I'll show them the policy again. You know, look, here's the thing, okay? On insurance, no insurance, and group insurance, okay? Because here's the thing, okay? If we're dealing, and this is why this works, this presentation. Most of us don't have a securities license at all. Okay? That's just the reality. Only a minority, probably 35% of people have a securities license. Then our clients, they don't have money to invest. Most of them. Right? They're paycheck to paycheck. If I don't wrestle with them right here, there's no point in the rest of the presentation. Now, if you're in a different market and I sit down with somebody and they got $150,000 in an old 401k, I'm not fighting them here right now. Okay? The investments is more important to me. to try to get it and the insurance. But if I'm sitting down with, like I said, if I go out with Kelvin and the people that he goes out with, or the people, just in all the appointments, not just Kelvin, but Kelvin's the one I've been training the most. All appointments, it's like, look, we are not moving off this. You think I'm gonna like, oh hey, here's let me get you on a $75 Roth IRA investment and $25 insurance? No, you need $100 of coverage. I'm not gonna fight with you. We're gonna wrestle right here, and if you don't see it, I'm out. So I just want people to get the right mentality on the client, right? If they're paycheck to paycheck, they don't have extra money, I gotta wrestle them away from their group, and then no coverage. So I might say something, Catherine, along the lines of, hey, listen, this is not, I understand your company's great, and they provide great benefits, but this is the insurance contract between the insurance company and the employees of the group, right? And this is, it's not designed, and I tell people, I say, it's because you're right, they get really sensitive about their company, and they feel like you're really insulting, you know? Like you're trying to tell somebody that, you know, we cheating on you. And I know, I get it, right? I get it. I know, it's hard for you to find out, but it's true. Let me be the bear, okay? But what I say is like, look, the company's not trying intentionally to screw people. This is an added benefit. But never ever depend on it. You know, that's the whole point of the group presentation. It's like, look, it's awesome if it's there, it's great if it's free, but this is your kids. This is your kids. And when it comes to your kids, how much risk do you want to take? Right? I use the airplane story, and this kind of works for me a little bit. But they have to be open, right? I say, hey, it's like saying an airline, right? Come to an airline, and man, you know, this airline has great discounted prices, and you know, when this airline's awesome, it's got TVs, everything. Only, you know, we only rent like 20 or 30% of the time. It's a great airline. Did you ever fly for an airline? When you say it very casual like this, well, that's what you're doing. And I'll say it just like that. That's if you depend 100% on the group. Hey, we're fighting right there. I mean, I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be animated, but I am going to destroy the group. I mean, I got to show videos. I got to go through the contracts. My trainee has to see me annihilate group, man. You cannot lay down here. Look, this is on insurance. Number one, you have to have pride in our product, but number two, you have to know that if they don't have Primerica life insurance, they're in trouble. That's what I got from Ian. That when I listened to his audios and I heard him here, he knows if you got the wrong type of insurance, you don't have quality material in building the foundation of your house. And relying on group is the worst thing in the freaking world. It's inadequate coverage. It's not there when you need it. They can cancel at any time. You've seen the videos. That's not the only story of that. We give other stories, you know. Does that mean we're going to win 100% of the time? No. And you may just come against that one person that's blind. You know, they just can't see it. They have the glaze, right? Cash value, we changed the slides to our old slides. I like these ones better. And then our old dancing pictures. All right? Can I go back? All right. And then we get to turn. All right? And we get to dine. Or where's the dine? Right here. Like the dime, because it gives great commitment questions as you're asking these. If something happened to you, you want your mortgage and debt paid, how much would that be? If something happened to you, you want to earmark some of this for college. And then the income, which is basically the same thing as income replacement, where you say, oh, well, if something happened to you, how much money would you want your wife to have? He says $3,000 a month. I explain how that works. And then you're going to put the hypothetical in there, right?
You mean like death benefit?
Yeah.
Withdrawal? Yeah.
So we're going to put a death benefit withdrawal, and I'll teach you some questions that you can ask when you say that. So say, look, you know, in this one case, it's $500,000. Stretches out to 1.3 million, whatever it is. How much insurance did you buy? You bought 500,000. How much money did you get? Right, and you explain a little bit about that, right? And then you quote. And that's it. closing on the first is an art form. You got to get really good at it in our business. Okay, I know it's if people don't have protection, we have to get them to apply. All right. Is it okay to not close on the first? Yes. You don't have to close always on the first. Okay. If you don't close on the first, though, you should get a strong commitment and quote them and tell them when you're coming back, you're going to write a check. Okay. In our data collection, which I'll be training on tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to end the first appointment. Okay, that's what I'm going to do if you don't close. I would say 50% of the time you won't close in the beginning on the first. Okay, it depends on what type of market you're in. If you're in a warm market and the training has tons of credibility, you may close. But if you don't close, this is not, oh, I didn't close. When you going back, ask the investment questions, retirement questions. We're trying to navigate this because, like I said, the climate is changing. People don't have policies. Most people have group insurance. Most people have no insurance. You've got to learn how to close them and get them to apply for coverage on the first, okay? When should we 100% always close on the first? Huh? Okay, that's true, but when there's a couple things that said always you should close on the first. Long drive. Okay? Write these down. You drive far?
Super small apps.
What did he say? Let's see what he said.
She does that.
Super small app.
She does that. She's supposed to.
No, she does that to me. I did a triple quit. 16, 17, 18. There it is coverage. 10,000 of coverage is $16. That's the minimum. I feel you're going to use that for your thing. Now what you need is 11,000 for $17. If you're feeling great, this is going to be a good year for you. 12,000 of coverage will be $18, but that's the maximum. My code doesn't even go above $18 a month. So I'll have to call my special authorization. Which one of these three? Anyways, super small apps, close on the first. You don't need to be coming back for $30 a month. I mean it. You don't. There's no decision to be made. Come on.
COD.
I mean, health issue. If they have a health issue, right, and just ask them, have you ever had trouble qualifying for insurance before? You get in the conversation, just ask them, have you ever had trouble? Do you have any health issues? Right? You close. Those three, you close 100% of the time. You don't even, small app, far drive, health issues, you close right there. Okay? And a lot of our appointments, you know, they're not going to be, you know, and then they have no insurance or group, it's closed. Okay? But they have insurance already. Okay? Maybe you can come back. You analyze the policy. They have $100,000 rollover. Come back. They have big investments. Yeah, you're going to come back. Everything else, you close right there. You get into the insurance conversation. And we're still navigating this. Okay? It's different. Okay? Because it's like I said, every client is different. Every situation is different. Every scenario is different. Clients are different. People, we have a strategy, but it doesn't always go with the plan. All right? Any questions so far? We're done, but any questions?
Why did you change the basic for this? Do you have a script for that? Or?
The script I used to have actually goes with this one, not the other one. I just like this one
Why?
better.
Okay. All right, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I used. I got that other one from the app.
But why?
And I just, huh?
But why?
Well, universal connection.
Is there Universal still in there?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, so.
Same type.
Yeah, the pipe.
So, if they don't know that the whole life of universal can't find the policy, you just really know the cash value. and go with the whole
Yeah, I mean, I would talk about cash value. Yeah.
And then if they, I don't want to just say they don't waste any money, like I had a guy who's like super qualified, but they're like, you know, waste like $5 you can cook everything, right? Where do you stop? At the Red House and ask for referrals, or?
Well, it depends on how they were saying, right? Like if they're like, some people just don't waste money, then maybe they want to reduce their costs. Like, did they have a whole life?
They had a whole life and.
But they don't waste any money.
It was $29 for a child.
So someone, and some people are like that, right? Some people that say they don't waste any money, but they have the wrong product. Then I'm going to hammer them that I can save you money. But, you know, here's the thing. Think about it. How much does client make?
$3,000.
So, see what she just said? We waste $5 a week. We have a $29 a month whole life, and they make $3,000 together. I'm happy. Like I'm not saying I'll help the family. If you're fighting me at all, I won't even say bye. I'm saying I'm using the bathroom now. I'm gonna run the. I'm gonna quote you. Because you're gonna post this on the internet. My name's Samir Qureshi. Here's my card. I'll see you later. Come back. Do you hear what you said? I mean, think about it. You got to save this in your mind. $29 whole life. I don't even think those are possible. Are they allowed? Are they like 1950? $29 a month whole life. Can't find it. Waste $5. Makes $3,000. Combined. Get out. Get out. My son makes $3,000 on his YouTube post. Jesus. Right? Post himself, you know, playing with toys, makes $3 grand a month. We gotta have a higher, right, just caliber. They don't have to make a lot of money, you know. But if they make no money and they're kind of being difficult, get out of there. I'm fine with people making. I have a lot of clients, right? You're one of your recruits' moms. You know, she makes a couple grand a month. She's the best client in the world. Helpful. Hey, my daughter, I want her to become a recruit. Really, you know, close business right there. I don't judge people, but I also know if you make $3,000 a month, you're fighting me. I know you waste more than $5 a week, and you have a whole life policy. I'm right. You're frustrated. Like even asking, you got to know. Even to ask a question, why would you ask a question? There's nothing you can do with a client like that, right? There's nothing you can do with a client like that. If someone is ignorant financially and they're fighting you. You're just gonna start feeling bad about yourself, right? Don't. You know? And Bruce will teach you too, even clients that make money. You know, he'd always use that. He said, you know, use the sky is blue questions, right? Like you talk to them, say, hey, look, you know, ask them is more, you know, a very common sense question. If they can't answer it, it's blue. You know, well, if I could give you, I'm doing okay retirement wise. Okay, but if I could show you how to retire 5 years earlier, or have maybe 40–50% more in your retirement account, or have less risk, that would interest you. No, get out. What's the point? If they're going to be fighting you the whole time, no. Go ahead. Be careful.
I wanted to know if you were going to stop at the Red House to get referrals before you walk out, or would you just send my That was my question.
Can you answer? What would you do? Do it. Do you feel you can get referrals again? Is that where you got to? Did you get to the restaurant?
Yeah.
You got it. Remember, you get to the Yellow Brick Road? You get referrals? You call them? Did the number work? They live in the country? This is my regional leader. All right. Tickets to the event next Saturday. 8 days. Towers. Everybody has the address, Reston, Sheraton. Get your tickets, one by one. Let's do a winner's lunch with Warren Powers. It's gonna be great. I saw him at the senior leadership meeting. If a client is fighting you the whole time, what kind of referrals do you get from them? I'm asking, I'm really asking, because now I don't want her to think that I'm just being mean and nasty. I'm really asking.
It can't be a good referral because they don't believe in it, so who are they gonna really refer you to?
And usually life attracts life, I mean, they're kind of stubborn, most of their associates, don't mind it.
Look, I'm not, and I don't want to confuse them, okay? If all you spend time in these, I call them head scratcher situations, where you're just scratching your head all the time, like, what just happened, this and that, your whole, like, you're disoriented when you do Primerica, right? Because you're not working with good, quality, credible people. They don't have to make, I didn't say rich. Good, quality, credible people, right? So, I mean, I'm just saying that as a last effort, Jen, so you practice getting referrals. For somebody like you at your level, you should know what's going to come out of it. One referral that doesn't call back. That's very, you know, I don't think if you get to the red house or you leave right there and ask for the referral, I really don't think that. You know, you got to, I'm trying to teach you, when you see this is a 911, get out. What Bruce always say? The house is on fire. Do you want to get burned? Get out. Right? So you just got to say it like, uh-oh. Okay, this is a sign. Oh, there's smoke here. Smoke. I'm out. House is on fire. Right? That's what he would always say. Like, you just got to, because I don't want you to think that, yeah, okay, I understand your question. When do I get referral? You know, you deal with the client. Like, that ain't a client. That's not an appointment. That's not a credible referral source. I've asked people, you know, it's like you recruit somebody, they hate what we do, they give you 3 names. Does anything ever work from them? Right? I'm not saying, some people give them a short list and you got something, but usually people, you know, you call them all, and you set up 5 interviews, and that person called them all and canceled it for you, right? Right? Anybody ever happen to that? Right? So, get your tickets tomorrow. We're going to be setting appointments. I'll be, you know, we're doing what we do every week. Take a break. We're going to set 2 activities. We'll have our hot meeting tomorrow. We'll have an unlicensed class tomorrow, so make sure we get everybody here fighting. I don't care if it's cold, whatever. We have practice tomorrow. It's going to be, you know, unbelievable. 9:30 a.m. We'll get 2018 started. All right, team up.